Behind me, we have potentially one of the best value cars on the market for sale at the moment. In 2022, it won the AA Car of the Year, and that's because it's a really good package, and it's one of the few cars that has 7 seats and is under 40,000 euros. In fact, prices start at about 25,000 euros. Now on the channel, we've already reviewed the entry-level petrol engine. It's a 1 litre, 3-cylinder turbocharged. However, this is the hybrid one, and in my opinion, it's definitely the one to go for. This is Done Deal. I'm David OC. Now let's check out the Dacia Jogger Hybrid. In terms of engines, what does the hybrid actually have? So this is a 1.6 litre petrol engine, and it's paired with actually 2 electric motors. Now, in terms of battery size, it's not a plug-in hybrid, it's just a 1.2 kilowatt hour battery, and that's actually located in the rear where your spare wheel would be on the normal Jogger. The fit and finish in here is more or less identical to the regular Jogger. The instrument cluster up in front of you there works really well. You've got all the key information, and I quite like how you can see when it's recharging, which we'll come back to in a moment. And then you've got an 8-inch screen here. Apple CarPlay connects up. I haven't actually connected up today, but I know in the previous Jogger it all works very well. This one, because it's the Extreme, comes with heated seats, and it's just a nice place to be. Everything's about practicality. There's a big 7 litre glove box. There's storage everywhere. It is quite nice. The seating position here is actually very good. As you can see, you can adjust the steering wheel however you like it. I will say, if you've got a tall passenger, that seat doesn't actually drop down. So I found myself earlier in the passenger seat almost being a little bit too high up. But again, that's kind of your passenger's problem, not yours. And I also love this phone holder here. Having that there to drive and just have your phone connected up nice and easily, it's really good. And to include that from factory, it just makes sense. And you kind of think, why don't more manufacturers do that? In terms of specs, well, the normal Jogger has 3 specs. It's Essential, Expression, and Extreme SE, but the hybrid version, that comes with 2, and that's the Expression and the Extreme SE, and I actually think this is the one to go for. It comes with some nice decals, some blacked out alloy wheels, and it just looks a little bit more aggressive. But to be fair, spec along all of them is really good. You get hill start assist, blind spot monitoring, reversing camera, and parking sensors, and emergency braking. So specs are really good completely across the range, but I do think it's worth paying that little bit more to get the Extreme version. Prices, we still don't know yet. I estimate, I think, if I consider the entry-level Joggers 25 grand, for an Extreme one it's about 28 grand. I suspect an Extreme with a hybrid engine will be maybe early to mid 30s, which is a good price. If it goes a little bit higher, it's probably going to be a little bit expensive. So as I was saying earlier, the brilliant thing about this is just the entry level, and it's all about driving and just being confident in the car. And a big part of that then comes down to warranty. Now, Dacia have got you covered. So as standard, you get 3 years or 100,000 kilometers, whatever comes first, but you can extend it to a 7-year warranty if you like. And then in terms of the battery, because that's always a big one, oh yeah, but the battery will pack it in 6 months or whatever it might be. That's what people think, but the good news is you'll actually get 8 years or 160,000 kilometers warranty on that battery. And the reality is you probably only will ever own this for a maximum 8 years, and then you'll move it on and get into the newer version when your kids grow up and maybe don't need the 7 seats anymore. So to drive, it is leaps and bounds better than the regular Jogger. Now, the regular Jogger is not bad, but this is just so well set up with this automatic gearbox. It definitely benefits from it. It feels a lot more right in terms of power to weight. And I can imagine if you're going to fill it up, if you have a few big lads in the back, you definitely need that extra power. Earlier on I overtook and there was plenty of poke. And it just feels better as a whole. And I think a car of this size and this nature, it's just one less thing to think about. You've no clutch, and it's just a pleasure to drive. In terms of aids, there's cruise control. The blind spot monitoring is great. Again, if you've got 3 or 4 kids in the back shouting, Mom, Dad, I need this, need that, the last thing you really want to be doing is turning your head over, and just having those blind spot monitors does help in that respect. Now, in terms of those electric motors, there is 2, as I said before, and the first is kind of like an extended mild hybrid system, whereas the main electric motor is 49 horsepower. It's a traction motor, and actually it's doing quite a lot, and you're spending a huge amount of your time using that. Whilst it's not a massive battery, there is actually the capacity to drive about 80% of the time around the city in pure EV mode. And what that means is you've got huge range. This car, we could end up doing 900 kilometers on a single tank of fuel. It increases efficiency by about 40%. And I think I read claimed efficiency is 5 litres per 100 kilometers, but right now we're averaging 4.2, and that's with a mix of driving motorway, city, now on some kind of back road. So it is very efficient too. In front of me here on this screen, I can see how I'm using my power. And so if I put my foot down, it rises up, and you can almost feel the petrol motor kicking in. It's a very seamless transition. But if I take my foot off, you can see it recharging. And if I go one step further and put it into B mode here, I then begin to kind of regenerate power. And what that means is it's using the energy of the car slowing down to recoup power and fill up that 1.2 kilowatt hour battery. It's no crazy amount of regen, but it does just do enough, and it means driving around town you're not just completely burning fuel. You actually really do find you're rarely hearing that petrol motor when you're kind of in stop-start traffic. So that's it for today in the Dacia Jogger. It's more of a first drive. If you would like to watch our full insightful review on the ordinary Jogger, then you can hit the link up there. We talk about boot space, but it's worth noting the hybrid is absolutely identical. The only difference is you don't get a spare wheel, so you can still have over 2,000 litres in the boot if you fold down the seats and take the third row out. So it is a very practical car, and we will expect to see these probably July, August time in Ireland on our Irish roads. So definitely, if you're looking to get yourself into a Jogger, I can advise you just go down to your local dealer. You can hit the link up there. We've got over 1,000 trusted dealerships around the country, and they'll be sure to give you all the insight. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. But that's it for us in Lisbon today. Thank you so much for watching. See you